Boris Johnson was forced to visit Scotland to defend the Union after a tense week in Scottish politics as the Nationalists pushed forward on independence. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon and the Prime Minister both launched scathing attacks on each other as the SNP outlined their IndyRef 2 vote plans. Mr. Johnson said a referendum was a once-in-a-generation opportunity and should not be held until 2055. But Scots were told they could have a second independence referendum by Christmas by the SNP this morning. So, we are asking our readers whether you agree with Boris Johnson that a vote should not take place until 2055. The Scottish Government's Constitution Minister Michael Russell said the vote could be held 6 months after Holyrood passed a referendum bill, which is expected in June. Mr. Russell said, best practice suggests that 6 months should expire between the legislation and the referendum. That is because electoral administrators need time to put in systems, but I do hope the new parliament moves without too much delay to that. The party has outlined its roadmap to independence if a majority of supportive MSPs are elected, which includes plans to hold another referendum even if Westminster refuse permission, effectively daring them to take legal action to stop it. The Prime Minister visited Scotland on Thursday, where he talked up the positives of cooperation within the UK in tackling coronavirus while claiming the SNP uses independence as a diversionary tactic from domestic problems. Mr. Johnson criticised Ms. Sturgeon's ramped-up drive for independence and said during a press conference, "What's it intended to deliver this referendum? What happens to the pound? What happens to the army? What happens to the Queen? What happens to our security services? None of these questions, fundamental to statehood, have been asked or answered. To say you want a referendum is a bit like saying you don't mind what you eat provided you eat it with a spoon. What's it all about? We had one of these in 2014 and we were told it was a once-in-a-generation event.